My name is Julianne Lanyap. I'm an artist, dressmaker, and costume designer. I design and make the royalty costumes for Krewe du Vieux. This is my 10-year anniversary of being part of Krewe du Vieux and of making Mardi Gras costumes professionally. When I first joined Krewe du Vieux 10 years ago, I was invited to make costumes for the subfloat Lude. I was introduced to the captains who introduced me to the crew members, and there were several people who commissioned me to make costumes for them. I began making the royalty costumes in 2018, which was the 300th anniversary of the founding of New Orleans. I created a gown inspired by the Louisiana landscape and the river and the fluvial tides, and it features a hand-beaded pelican in the style of a Revolutionary War eagle. The theme for this year is Save the Wet Glands. This year, the Krewe du Vieux royalty are Francesca Troutman and Max Stites, who started Glass Half Full, which takes glass bottles from around the city, crushes them into sand, and uses those sandbags as part of coastal restoration projects. They saw a municipal failing and they did something about it. This year's royalty costumes are definitely inspired by the royalty themselves. Francesca also has her signature colors, hot pink and aqua blue, so of course we featured that. This costume design was really fun for me to make. I'm excited by Francesca and Max. Their visual ideas blend really well with mine. It's fun to not hold back and to really get to celebrate somebody's accomplishments. We wanted to focus on organic shapes rather than a broken glass. Broken glass is a warning. It's an aggressive thing. When you drop a glass, the music stops, everybody stares at you. So we didn't want to focus on that energy. We wanted to focus on the playfulness and the wetland aspect of her work. They grew up down the bayou and really wanted to focus on the nature and the flowiness of the water and more of the ecology. This process is very collaborative. I really enjoy being inspired by the client. Francesca was very clear at our first meeting she did not want to wear a dress, and so we immediately decided on a jumpsuit. I'm a big fan of jumpsuits myself, and this is my first time doing a royal jumpsuit. I love working with sparkly spandex fabrics. I like making applique shapes. When Francesca came to my studio for the first time, she immediately had a strong reaction to the blue aqua sequin fabric that's in the middle of her dress. We decided to use several different fabrics on the same garment, and that's where the flowy patchwork aesthetic came from. The crown features plastic liquor bottles that have been painted and backlit. I learned how to sew when I was 5 years old. That's the first thing I ever made. It was an embroidery, a cross stitch. So I've been sewing since I was 5 years old. It's over 30 years now that I've been experiencing textiles and how to make things. And I never set out to be a costume designer, but since sewing is a rarefied skill, the business really grew itself. Every carnival always has more ideas than time, but this is an especially short carnival season. I started working on my commissions in September and October this year. Everybody wants their costume for the same parade, for the same weekend, or the weekend after, or the ball that's after that. In the lead up to Mardi Gras, you get tunnel vision, and the answer to every question is, I'll handle that after Mardi Gras, and I'll take care of that after Mardi Gras. So I'm looking forward to getting some of those hanging to-do items off of my list. I usually throw my costume together the day of the event because I've been working on client costumes up until the night before, and so I get about 4 hours to myself where I get to make everything together and get panicked and get out the door and get there in time, and that's it. It's chaotic. Well, a really great day of fabric shopping would start at Promenade Fine Fabrics on St. Charles. It's a very lovely store. It's family owned. I usually get very lucky when I'm browsing through Rick Rack textile recycling. Of course, Jefferson Variety is a classic, and no costume project would be complete without a last-minute trip to go get another extra yard of sequins or some type shenanigan. Another local fabric source is Chateau So-and-So, and She focuses mostly on quilting cottons. One of my favorite secret spots for fabric is Tian's Pharmacy out in New Orleans East. It is a pharmacy slash fabric store. She carries a lot of nylons and silks imported from Vietnam. When I'm not busy with costume commissions, I do a lot of other types of garments. When somebody puts on a garment that is made for them, you can see a light come on in their eyes and you can see their face brighten up. It's really exciting to see somebody get a little taller and feel more like themselves. Another creative outlet that I've been developing is installation work. Instead of covering a body with a garment, I'm covering the inside of a room with a garment. In 2025, I started a jewelry line called the Gallivant Collection. The Gallivant Collection is inspired by trailblazing women who lead their own parades. The jewelry collection is all acrylic sheets that are laser cut by my sister-in-law. She and I work together really well to take the ideas and make them into reality. You can see more of my work at King Cake Hub at 3300 Gravier Street. I did all of the interior design for the new King Cake Hub location, which is 6,000 square feet of sugary goodness. You can also see my installations at Jam Nola, which is at 940 Frenchman Street. I created the Rougerie room, which is inspired by Storyville. I also created the mezzanine. It features the Feather Forest as well as the Fountain of You that I created for the new installation. The Fountain of You is actually a trick photography setup. There's a mirror on the figurehead of the fountain, and you can line up your face and your camera in such a way that your face is reflected in the fountain, therefore Fountain of You. I have a digital portfolio, which is ladyparadise.studio. On Instagram, I post as Made by Julianne as well as Lady Paradise Studio.